During takeoff, the commander gives the final signal. Pilots accelerate and carefully monitor their jets. During landing, the landing signal officer, LSO, employs optical landing aids and radio communication to guide aircraft safely. Parameters like altitude, speed, and angle are monitored closely. Though simpler than U.S. procedures, Izumo must still maintain firefighting, medical, and emergency response teams. A single fire could devastate the ship, as seen in past U.S. carrier incidents. This is why Japan values Italy's operational experience so highly.
During the landing phase, Izumo benefits from the F-35B's vertical landing capability, eliminating the need for arresting cables and catapults like on U.S. carriers. This reduces technical complexity, but thorough preparation is still required. On deck, firefighting teams remain on constant alert for potential fires, while medical crews stand by for emergencies. A single fire could cripple the ship, as seen with the USS Bonhomme Richard in 2020, which suffered billions in damages and had to be decommissioned. This lesson makes Japan pay special attention to fire safety systems. Equally important is the training of technical crews. They must work in perfect coordination, inspecting aircraft, refueling, loading weapons, and guiding pilots. Even minor mistakes can result in catastrophic outcomes. Izumo must also ensure rapid maintenance capability to sustain a high sortie rate. In modern warfare, the turnaround speed, from landing, refueling, rearming, to taking off again, is a decisive factor in gaining superiority. All of these lessons Japan is drawing from Italy and the US, not just to operate Izumo, but to maximize its real combat effectiveness.
Another important point is that Japan is not only focusing on Izumo as a strategic platform, but also raising a bigger question. Can light carriers fully replace the role of traditional supercarriers? The concept of the Lightning carrier was born in the US, leveraging the F-35B and medium-sized amphibious assault ships to cut costs while maintaining combat capability. Izumo stands as proof of this trend. Much smaller than the Ford class, yet more flexible, more economical, and powerful enough for the Asia-Pacific region. However, experts warn, small carriers cannot sustain prolonged combat in high-intensity wars. With fewer aircraft and limited resupply capacity, Izumo cannot compete with supercarriers capable of deploying 90 jets at once. Yet Japan has its own advantage: geography. Izumo does not need to travel far like U.S. carriers, but instead operates mainly around East Asia, where distances are short and logistical bases are dense. This makes Izumo an extremely effective defense-offense tool for Japan's anti-access strategy. In the global picture, the rise of Izumo also carries an important political message. Japan has stepped out of the shadow of being defense-only after World War II. Aircraft carriers, once considered symbols of offensive power, have now become legitimate platforms in Japan's new defense policy. Equipping the Izumo with the F-35B shows that Japan is not only defending its territory, but also aiming for regional influence. This change reflects not only military needs, but also a response to a shifting security environment. China's rise, its anti-access strategy, and its growing carrier fleet forced Japan to adapt. Meanwhile, Russia's development of hypersonic missile systems poses another potential threat. Izumo is not a supercarrier, but its flexibility and lower operating costs make it a smart weapon in Japan's hands. Instead of competing directly with the US, Japan exploits its regional advantage: quick, lean, and always ready to respond in its own backyard. Looking back at history, Japan was once a notorious naval power, commanding the feared combined fleet. But after its defeat in World War II, the pacifist constitution restricted the country to maintaining only self-defense forces. The emergence of the Izumo as a true aircraft carrier marks a turning point. Japan is reviving the naval instincts that once made the world cautious.
With its ability to deploy the F-35B, the Izumo carries the message that Japan is ready to take on greater responsibilities in the region. This is not just a story of weapons, but also of political will. Tokyo aims to prove to its ally, the US, that it can share the security burden while simultaneously sending deterrent signals to China and North Korea. More importantly, the Izumo stands as a symbol of balance between past and future. From a nation once constrained by strict limitations, Japan is now entering a new era, one where it not only defends itself, but also safeguards interests beyond its home shores. Amid growing tensions in the Asia-Pacific, Japan's role is becoming increasingly prominent.